Bitcoin jumps, Solana comes up. Things look like they're going to the moon. Is the bear market over? I wish it was, but I don't think it is. I think we need to be careful still and cautious, wise in our investments, and realize that the Fed, I don't believe, has any intention of backing off on interest rates. Even though a more positive report came out lately, I don't feel that they are going to back off. I do believe there's another agenda behind this. And that I want to talk about today in DeFi IoT. Before we get into this, I want to go through today a little bit of a, self-defense scenario, right? A lot of people out there are advocates of the Second Amendment, and so am I. I'm not going to hide that at all. That's another reason why I love Bitcoin and I love decentralized crypto. It maintains that free market economy, that freedom of expression, and that freedom to be able to defend oneself when necessary. I've lived in countries where you cannot do that. And I woke up one time at 4 in the morning with a person in my daughter's bedroom, and it looked like an apparent attempted kidnap. And fortunately, one of my older sons was sleeping in that same room that night, and I got up and the person ran up out the top of the stairs and took off, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. So what could I do? Well, in that country where we lived, I could not defend myself in any way, even in my home. So when I came back home to my home country, where I do still have some gun rights, I decided, I had to grab one of these little balls I want to show you right now. I decided to buy one of these babies. This, I'm not being promoted. I'm not promoting this at all. I'm not being paid to promote this. This is it's a Berna gun, right? And what this done is it's an air gun. This air gun has little pellets in it, if you will. They're like airsoft pellets, like paintball pellets, but they're actually like a pepper spray. You can put these in a clip. You got 5 shots. It's CO2. It just loads in here. You got a little sight on it, and you can shoot. Legally, in the United States of America, you can carry that gun. What's the advantage of it? Well, if I'm carrying a regular gun and I shoot somebody, then I got a whole gamut of legal issues I got to go through, even though I'm defending myself. So what I do is I like to have this gun close by and with me. Then if I need to defend myself, I can actually use this gun in self-defense, not to intimidate, in self-defense, and avoid all those legal issues. Now people can say, yeah, but what if they fire back? Like, you don't pull this out to try to intimidate somebody. This is not even a real looking gun. And in the state I live in currently, won't allow you to have anything that looks like a real looking. You can get one that looks more like a real looking gun, but it's not as powerful. I like it because if you pull it out, you use it. You got 5 shots. Start with the feet and work your way up as they come closer. It will make it so they can't see and they can't breathe for a few minutes. And that's time for you to get away and get out of there. That's the best scenario for self-defense and avoid all the legal hassles, especially in some of those bluer states. Let's jump into the video now. Bitcoin has jumped to over 21,000. We're down to 16, 17 range. We jumped to 21,000. It looks like the crypto market might be recovering from what they call a bear market. A bear market being a low market going down. A bull market is when it's pushing itself up. When they say going to the moon, it means like it's going all the way to the moon. It's going to keep going, which I don't really like that term anyway. And it's not a very sound investment terminology as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion on it. So what's caused this, right? Is the bear market, in other words, this market, the down market, is it over? Some are saying it's over. You saw Bitcoin bump up a few $1,000s, but it's still down to 21,000. It's still not anywhere near the 68,000 or wherever it was last year. Will we get there? I believe so, but I think we still have a ways to go. And there's reasons behind that. So what caused this pump? Well, it's obviously most likely not retail buyers. Though I myself try to pull some money away and buy a little bit of Bitcoin each day. I want to accrue more Bitcoin because I know where it's going down the road. At the same time, I'm buying gold, buying silver. I'm storing that in safe places. So is our company, are we buying Bitcoin? Yes, we are, but not in masses. And nor are many retailers right now. Why? Because we don't have the money. There's not those free handouts of money anymore being given by the federal government and other governments in the world. There's not the ability to be able to survive and live like we were able to do a few years ago. Inflation is just consumed our extra income. And then at that point, you also have jobs being lost. You have less jobs out there now. You're seeing Amazon lay off thousands amongst others. So you don't see the money flow, cash flow out there in the actual retail, meaning you and I, right? So what's causing this? What caused it to bump? Well, that will become more from your institutional investors, your banks, your central banks even, because remember the World Bank's actually issuing legal outlines so that other central banks could buy Bitcoin and other types of cryptos that they approve of. You're going to have institutions come out. JP Morgan recently have basically came out in a report and said they expected Bitcoin to push to 150,000. Now, I don't think that'd be this year, but in the next few years, rolling out, and I believe that's true. I think that's going to be the alternative to that CDBC, that central bank digital currency we talked about in our previous video. An alternative of not necessarily of having a money, so to speak, but a way to be able to put your money into like gold and let it not devalue, right? Bitcoin, though, when you put it on what's called a lightning network and kind of stabilizes it, to put it in simple terms, it can actually be used as money, or if you want to call it currency. But like they do in El Salvador, and they've had success with it. Now, Bukele, the president of Salvador, a lot of people are against the Bitcoin thing still, are not really understanding it, and that's due large in part to groups placed by the United States of America and others that don't want to see Bitcoin flourish in El Salvador, and they don't want it to work in El Salvador. So they're out there attacking it and putting in bad publicity. But overall, Bukele has like around a 90% approval rating by the people of El Salvador. And that's because he's increased their poverty and decreased their crime. The people, for once, are able to buy and do things that they could ever do before in El Salvador. And that's due to a president who believes in a free market and sustaining it. El Salvador mines Bitcoin through energy that's being produced by volcanoes. Interesting point, right? So what are some other topics we've seen this last few weeks? We've seen some bounces in some different altcoins, and that would be something else that you would see if it was retails. If people like you and I out pumping up the crypto market or the Bitcoin market, they're two different animals. We would see more altcoins, meaning the cryptos like, well, we saw Solana bump up 10, 11 dollars for a token, and that's a good increase for Solana, but they're due for that. I mean, what happened to Solana wasn't Solana's fault. That was the whole FTX collapse and all that scandal, because FTX was the largest holder of Solana, or one of the largest holders of Solana. And so that caused that to come down. And there's a lot of fear that once FTX is all liquidated, that's going to sell off of the market, right? And that's something else we got to look at. You've got a few of these crypto platforms that are still yet to be sold off. In other words, the money's going to be returned and people are going to sell off those assets to recover what they can. So you're going to have a lot of sell-offs come out still in 2023 and maybe even going into 2024. That's why I don't feel that that we're going to turn into a bull market. In other words, we're going to start increasing right away. I still think it's a time to buy, and I actually hope it kind of comes back down some more so we can buy right now. Even though there's not a lot of extra income laying around, I try to discipline myself, and you can do the same thing, to take 10% of what I earn and I buy crypto, I buy silver, and I buy gold. Now, I like to buy these gold backs I was talking about, the paper bills, and there's a reason for that, because I think that's going to be easier to actually, to trade with and barter with than actually having an ounce of gold or a half ounce of gold or a quarter ounce of gold. As I'm talking to you, my chair is actually going down, so that's why I'm getting lower in the camera. So, in summary, I think what we need to look at is the positive ends of this crypto market. What's happening in the NFT world? Well, Solana being one of the leaders in non-fungible tokens. Remember, we talked about having a currency as something fungible, right? Well, a dollar is, you could say it's fungible, but it's really not because it's owned by the government, right? But if I have money, or in other words, I have gold or silver, things that I have in my hands, that's fungible, that's tangible, right? Something that's non-fungible or non-tangible, or non-tangible token, a digital non-fungible, non-tangible value or item of value is known as an NFT. And that is then an artwork or anything that's digital. For example, McDonald's is trying to come out. We saw some things on Twitter of a McDonald's NFT. Now, McDonald's has about 10 patents, though, however, for the metaverse. And I was talking to some people last night, told me that, look at Zuckerberg, look what happened to Meta, Facebook, right? That they've crashed, their stocks have really come down. It's like the metaverse will never function. I said, oh, wait a minute. I'm not a fan of Zuckerberg at all, but you cannot take from that guy the intelligence he has on knowing where software is going and predicting the future. He's done a really good job of that. So I think we should keep an eye on him. He's put, $30 billion in the last 2 years into the metaverse. He even said, look, I'm going to lose billions so I can make trillions by around 2030, around that era. You're going to see the metaverse. McDonald's is buying the metaverse. You have other major companies like Nike and others have already placed themselves in their stores in the metaverse. You're seeing 10 patents, I think, came out for the metaverse for McDonald's going forward. Look, the metaverse is going to be something that's going to be incredible. There's good, and there's also going to be danger and bad there. Control, tracking, our information, the privatization issues are going to come up. There's also going to be a lot of opportunities to growth and work. And through AI, a lot of opportunities come out. I want to do a video on how we can make money through AI and become very wealthy and even a millionaire through AI and AI that's coming out now. That will be another video we do. So do I think that the bear market, the down market's over? Absolutely not. There's a lot of legislation still to come out. Things are going to be rolled out in the US and other countries that's going to come out against crypto or going to restrict crypto and restrict you and I. So there's going to be a lot of factors still coming down the road, but I do see a lot of opportunity there. And I wouldn't shy away from it. A guy asked me the other day, a friend of mine said, hey, I want to talk to you because I got a little bit of money and I want to place it in some areas. And I'm not a financial advisor in any sort, but he's a friend. He wants to come to me and said, hey, what do you think? And so I told him basic things. I said, look, man, this is what I'm doing. Silver, because it's easy to get into, has a great usage case, right? Gold as well, but silver has greater usage. You've got gold, and then Bitcoin, and there's a few other altcoins in there. Solana, polkadot that I like to hold and hodl. There's some others that we play around with and we take risks with. I got a Bitcoin miner back there, a small one back there, and I'm not going to say the name of who it is because I don't shield anything here for any companies. And even this little weapon that we showed today, this little CO2 weapon, I only told you the name because I think it's a good brand, a good quality weapon. I don't get paid. I'm not shielding that whatsoever. I just give you an alternative of self-defense without having to carry an actual gun and use a gun that can cause you a lot of issues right now in some of these states, especially the bluer states, right? So we're in the no shield zone here, DeFi, IoT. I hope this helps a little bit understand where we're going. Don't feel like I got to buy in now when I miss the boat. I would be careful on that. I would. We bought a little bit of some altcoins, and we didn't buy a whole lot. Spent $500 today on altcoins. I'm a simple guy like you guys, right? I mean, some of you are probably more sophisticated than I am and much wealthier than I am. We do all right, but we try to keep this very simple and keep it so it's applicable that we can all get involved with. And we can all do. DeFi IoT, I hope you like this. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to hit that 30,000 subscribers. That's our goal by the end of 2023. We got a team down in Ecuador that I really love a lot. They're young people, I say young people, I'm old, but they're in their mid-20s, and they really work hard to try to get you out the best videos. And I appreciate working with them, and I want to watch them grow, and what they're doing right now for project like SC Prime and so forth to bring a good future. We should do another video on that right now and update that. I think is phenomenal, and what you help us do, what YouTube pays us, goes to them. DeFi IoT, we'll see you in the next video.